Welcome to ELH 4x4 Doing Stuff. We're working on a 2017 Jeep Wrangler. We got an ABS light on and a traction control light on, and we got several codes popping up, so let's see what's going on. A U410 Alpha, which is an implausible right front wheel speed sensor signal, and a C1015 right front wheel speed sensor circuit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this thing for a test drive. We're going to pull up live data. And let's select or deselect. So we got front left wheel speed, right, rear, left and right, RPM, and let's see if there's a variance. Look at that. Would you just look at that? Nothing. So we didn't even make it out of the driveway, and we already know that there's something going on with this front right wheel speed sensor. What we're going to do is verify that. Got too many things going on here at once. I'm not on a main road or anything. I'm in my neighborhood. So it's working every once in a little bit, right? But for the most part, it's not working at all. So, all right, let's get situated, and then we'll actually do several tests on the circuit. Is it power supply going to the sensor, or is it the actual sensor itself? All right, we got our vehicle jacked up. We got our jack stand in place. Now we're going to take the wheel off. 19 mil. As we can see, we got excessive brake dust on the rim. Our rotor is discolored, and same with our brake caliper. Now, I've heard where if there is issues with the wheel speed sensor, it'll cause the brake to apply. So this brake setup looks like it's overheated. We hardly have any life on the brake pad. And what we can do now is the wheel speed sensor connector is located behind this shock mount. So we'll disconnect some of the wheel speed sensor harness and connect it over on this side, so we can kind of see what we're doing and we can do our back probe and all that other stuff. All right, we see the connector back there. Where is it? Right there. It is one of those pull the red tab kind of thing. And here's the other side of the wheel speed sensor. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure voltage at the connector, plug the wheel speed sensor back in, and see if it's performing a square wave function. So let's get our diagnostic tools set up and we'll measure voltage. The ignition has to be on. You don't have to run it, you just have to turn the key on. All right, we got key ignition on, and we're back probed into where is it? The dark green and light green. Actually, it would be the dark green. Nope. 12 volt supply signal is white. So we're plugged into the white wire, which is the upper connector, back probed, and we got our 12 volt reference. Now what we're going to do is move over to the actual signature test. All right, and we got our good ground. We're going to plug the wheel speed sensor back in and rotate the wheel. So let me get set up. All right, we got it plugged in. Now what they're saying is we should have a 10 volt between 10.4 and 10.8 volts. And we're not even busting over 2 volts, right? We're not even, let's go down to 5 volts. Right, oops. We're not even reaching a volt. So we got good voltage. So the harness integrity is good and our wheel speed sensor is bad. Caliper bolts are 12 mil. I have to use vice grips to hold the pins so they don't rotate, and I'm finding out that the caliper is seized, probably due to excessive heat. All right, we'll use the 21 to get the caliper mounting bracket off. Where are you guys looking? keep the mounting hardware after I drop it and lose it. Now we can take the rotor off. There's the wheel speed sensor. We can start disconnecting the wheel speed sensor from the flex hose and this little spring perch. Go. Done. Okay, there we go. We want to see if that's going to be the same as our replacement, so we can kind of move it out of the side. All right, next we'll work on the wheel hub. We got 12.13 millimeters. Right. Make sure it's fully seated. Okay. Then we'll come around to this other side. I do like how on the Jeep that the hardware is on the outside of the outside of the axle. Okay. Alright, I pulled a rib tendon on that one. If you're going to use this puller and you're pushing the axle in, be careful because it's going to bottom out right here and you don't want to put too much pressure on it, just enough to where you can work a chisel. Right, apply a little bit of pressure. Hit the 3 corners. Use some penetrating oil. Give it a tap. There you go. Now that we got that loose, let's try to get the axle out of the hub. Little bit of penetrating oil. All right, so what I did was I laid, I'll show you. I matched up the housing, or not the housing, but the wheel speed sensor wire, and made sure all the connecting points are the same, so that lines up. We're going to put the dust shield. Well, I wire wheeled this, and when I was chiseling it out, you know, I kind of marred up the surface, so I went over that and sanded it down. I wire brushed this out. What we can do is coat it with some anti-seize and then reassemble everything. So stand by. Right. Trying to get everything oriented. There we go. Put it over on that side. Okay. Wheel speed sensor is in the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock position. All right, I'm going to hit these bolts up with a wire wheel. And we can there we go, get some of the hardware started. Get it started loosely. Okay. Before we hook it up or anything like that, we're going to get our back probe going on and do the signal test. All right, we got the code cleared. Now we're going to route the wheel speed sensor harness. For the most part, we're going to hook it up for the most part, because I still got to change the caliper out. This part you kind of have to fly blind. Now we just go around and tighten up the wheel hub bolts. We can put the axle nut on. Be right back. All right, we got all of our hub mount bolts tightened up. Now what we can do is tighten up our axle. We can throw the old rotor So I'm suspecting. All right, we're going to keep it real. So I put the dust shield on backwards. Wasn't paying attention, got sidetracked. No big deal. We'll just unplug the speed sensor off of the hub. Take our dust shield. And flip it over. There we go. Make sure the speed sensor doesn't have any foreign objects or debris on it. Plug it back in. All right, so you're going to look for your relief for the caliper. So pay attention. All right, now we go back through and tighten up the hardware. All right, we got the wheel hub put on. This time the brake rotor fits on there all nice and neat without rubbing against the dust shield. I'm just putting this on, like I said, so we can tighten up the axle nut. Okay. Okay. Now we could put the new stuff on. All right, we went with a premium Bendix brake, and I think we got Bendix all over. Hold on. So we got Bendix rotor and brake pad kit, and we went with a Ray Bestis caliper. don't know where you guys are looking. So I think what I'm going to do is put or use the mounting bracket for the brake caliper to take the brake hose off. You have to save the banjo bolt. I think it's not, yeah, it's not in the new one. So we'll take this hose off and put it on the new caliper. And I'm going to end up flushing the system, just replacing the brake fluid. So all right, let's see what size that is. $15 mil. We get our drain pan. Our new copper washer's ready. Okay, there we go. Easy enough. Get everything ready. There we go. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, it's kind of bonded to the banjo bolt. All right. The brake hose does go on a certain way. right. No, we don't have to myrtleize it on there. We'll look at our brake pads. So the squealer goes on the piston side. All right, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We still need to tighten. Yeah, we need to tighten the bracket down. Right. There we go. I don't know if my big head blocked that. Now we could hook the remaining clips up on the wheel speed sensor harness. Tighten this up. This takes .3. So we're going to top the master cylinder off, break the bleeder screw loose. I think that's a 10 mil. Yep, 10 mil. go. Break that loose. And go put some brake fluid in. Pump it up. Hold it. All right, we got air out of the lines. All right, here we go. We're going to go through the brake bleeding procedure for the ABS. We already manually bled. Should be performed after. Bled manually. We did that. Ensure brake fluid reservoir is the proper level. We just did that. Brake pedal must remain pressed throughout the entire routine. I'm holding the brake. Continue. Brake goes all the way to the floor. It's pumping back up. Going to the floor. Open right front bleeder valve. We hit continue. Okay, so I gotta this is the difficult part. So let's close that. You're going to want us to go around the whole vehicle and do that. So I'm going to go through everything and we got to go to the right rear side and crack it open and hold the brake pedal. Close right rear bleeder valve. All right, we just took the time to fill up the master cylinder. Evac and fill complete, huh? Okay. There we go. We got a nice pedal. So we'll go to the scanner. We got our key on. Jeep 2017. We don't have any ABS lights on. We're going to do a code scan. Remember, we had a code at the transmission and at the anti-lock brake. No codes. We're going to take it for a test drive, do a comparison at the wheel speed, and then maybe that'll wrap it up. Stand by. All right, of course, batteries were going dead. So let's try this again. Alright, and we got the other side. We got the rotor and brake pads done. So what I'm going to do now is not only take the vehicle for a test drive to see if that wheel hub is working, but I'm also going to get the brakes heated and sintered. All right, we got our stuff hooked up. Everything seems to be working normally. No lights. It was beeping when I have it in the scanner, but I'm going to do some threshold braking to heat the brakes up. Wheel speed's looking good. All right, threshold braking. Braking, all right. And we're going to do it one more time. I'm starting to smell brake material. Braking's even. It's not pulling the wheel. All right, we got no codes present. And then we're doing a final scan after the repair. Okay, no codes. We got the brakes nice and warm. I could start smelling the brake material. So we got them nice and heated up. And then I'll just let the owner know to take it easy for the next 50 miles or so. But yeah, thanks for watching. ELH 4x4 doing stuff, dealing with traction control and ABS lights and the codes, and replacing the wheel hub, wheel speed sensor, and doing it after fixing it, doing the test drive. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you in the next one.